I have a very bad feeling about what is going on. This chapter as a whole, everything that it encompasses, has me on the edge of my seat. It just does not feel right. There's 3 parts to this. The first part, Denji, Yoshida, and this new girl now called Fumiko. There's a lot more here, a lot more context, and it's going to play a massive part into shaping / controlling Denji with where, when, and how he wants to do things from here on out. The second is Asa figuring out whether she loves or hates the popularity. Turns out she seems to kind of enjoy it. And the third and final part, we have a mysterious stranger that has approached Denji, someone that we do know, but we haven't really seen much of before. My question is why? Let's start off at the beginning, nice and simple. We have a name for this new girl, Fumiko Mifune. The interpretations of this name that I have found are very on the nose. Quite literally, this translation on the shorter, very brief side is beautiful beauty. Every angle you look at it, each phrase of her name has some sort of beautiful beauty attached to it. It's kind of funny. There's also like a hibiscus thing, 3 boats, etc. But I feel like in the context of what she's playing as, what she's doing, how that applies to Denji, and also just being supplied to by Yoshida, beautiful beauty seems kind of accurate. It's not the biggest thing though. Remember how we thought that these two were going to fight? Yeah, it's not true at all. Funny enough, she's a part of the Public Safety Devil Extermination Special Division. So that doesn't mean she's a child. She's not underage, she's actually 22. For context, isn't the craziest thing, but it does make me think that Yoshida is genuinely a lot older. See, I always had this idea in the back of my mind for whatever reason, that Yoshida is just not 17. His life experience just for whatever reason does not add up. This man is kind of a monster within the Public Safety Division. Before he even got into that field of things, he was a bodyguard, a very special one, someone that was incredibly powerful, and he is the only person to go toe-to-toe with Xuanxi, which when you think about her, and when you think about her experience and how crazy strong that person is, it doesn't really make sense for him to be 17. So I genuinely now think that he is older. It doesn't really matter in hindsight if he's younger or older, but I do find it a lot weirder that he's going through the lengths to put himself into high school, because I don't think that's where he goes, and also put this girl, Fumiko, into high school alongside with him when she's 22. If you leave a like and subscribe, you will be blessed and I won't have to hurt. I should also mention that they're working together. This is Yoshida's kind of idea, not the people that attacked Denji, this girl. So you probably have some questions. What was she doing? Why wouldn't she help Denji? Why was she just singing? Every interaction that you can question, Fujimoto kind of answers. Pretty much directly, actually. I feel like it's kind of on purpose that he's designed it like this, because it's very small things that you could easily gloss over, yet he takes the time to point each and every single one out. For me, this is Fujimoto playing with the audience. Something that he likes to do often, but kind of directly answering the concerns that the audience have, like, oh, why didn't this happen? Why didn't that happen? Well, it's because of this and because of that. And it's like, wow, he kind of just actually answered it. Not on anything grand or crazy or some big conclusion. It's more like just small, tiny stuff. I appreciate that. So this girl, Fumiko, and Yoshida working together. The people that attacked Denji, however, with baseball bats, they don't really know, which I'm kind of sus about. My first thought would be like, hey, this is the work of Fami. Fami has the ability to control all these people. Why not? Send all of these people in a big coordinated attack to a location that somehow she knows. Go forth. But then I thought, this is also something that Yoshida would do to test Denji, whether he would turn into Chainsaw Man or not, and how he would act in front of this bodyguard. See, think of it like this, right? Why would Yoshida, of all people, send this girl that is, coincidentally enough, a part of the Public Safety Devil Extermination Unit that has also worked with Special Division, means she has direct contact with some very powerful devils, she's probably a pretty powerful hunter herself, and not try and test the limitations of what Denji could or couldn't do? Basically, I think he specifically sent her, of all people, in case this situation did go wrong, and that she could be capable of taking Denji down in his Chainsaw Man form. So it's not just some random public safety devil hunter girl from school that couldn't even do anything if it did happen. Instead, you pick someone very specific. So I believe, even though he does seem kind of playful and coyish and kind of weird about the idea that, oh, these are some random people, how are we meant to track them? I honestly think it's orchestrated by him. Maybe to test her as well, maybe to test them both. At the same time, you could also argue just the complete opposite of that. She's not actually there to protect him, but to potentially kill him, or at least try to, if something goes very wrong. Unfortunately for Denji, however, this is where things get a little bit complicated, because Denji is kind of okay, fine with the idea of her being just a work friend. You know, it's part of her job. She has to care about him because it's her job, right? So he kind of shrugs off everything that she previously said, but she doubles down and says that she's actually really into him and has nothing relating to her job, so that perks his interest once again. For me, right, just hear me out for a second. I think Denji really loves being Chainsaw Man, and I think the more interaction he has with people that are expressing these type of things, whether it's on purpose or not, part of the job, whatever, it comes up more and more. Like, you see it when he fights, when he's not transformed, when he gets into weird situations, he enjoys it. He's good at what he does. He has fun, and while it's tiring and exhausting and this and that, it's who he is. There might be a kind of negative effect that Yoshida may not be able to predict, and this could be one of those things. Yoshida is trying to manage everything, and surely something within there will actually break. Denji's very much unpredictable. I don't think he's going to lay down and sit tight and not do anything, even though that's Yoshida's plan. Because where this is going, really nasty direction of conflict that I think no one really wants. The second part of this chapter, very simple, very straightforward. It focuses on Asa and Yoru. They're watching this television program, Chainsaw Man Church, but everything towards it is praise and glory to Asa Mitaka. She is eating it up. She loves it, even though she tries to deny it, even though she says it's all for the sake of Chainsaw Man. Exactly what I said a couple of different times over the past weeks. She has come to love this idea of being praised. This is something that she's secretly always wanted. Not necessarily fame, but just having acknowledgement. So she is taking everything that Denji has truly wanted, technically for herself. So as much as she denies it, as much as she says it's for Chainsaw Man's benefit, you see this very joyful, gleeful grin on her face. And that pretty much tells you everything you need to know, that she will continue to do this either way, whether it's related to Chainsaw Man or not. Of course, the thing that's stuck in Yoru's head is that she wants to kill Chainsaw Man, so I still don't know how she thinks this is beneficial for herself, because the more they do Chainsaw Man's job, the less that he actually does, the more that Yoru won't have a chance to meet him, so I feel like there's this weird kind of misunderstanding with what they're doing, but eerily they align pretty accurately. If everything that's going on with Asa is dictated by Fami, let's say, then the first part with Denji and Fumiko is dictated by Yoshida. The big question, are these two in tandem? Are they working together? Are they supplying each other information, kind of coexisting at the same time and trying to do different things that somewhat overlap in weird ways? Is this all to benefit the human race because they have a mutual goal, quote unquote, potentially, when it comes to Nostradamus' prophecy? There is way more here that I think is just very murky at the moment, so it comes off as very weird. Personally, I love this because it kind of makes you unsure who you should actually root for, what should be kind of the better outcome. You know, Nostradamus' prophecy is kind of in the future. That's like the big glaring issue, yet for some reason, no one at all wants Chainsaw Man involved. And the only kind of real guess that you can make is that he's too problematic. His power is too unforgiving. The final part of this chapter kind of throws a bit of a curveball in everything that I've just talked about when it comes to partnership, right? We get Swordman. If you don't know who Swordman is, he is one of the hybrids that Makima used to control in the final fight with Denji. So when they interact with each other, they actually don't know who they are. They have this faint idea, but they don't have legitimate memories of each other, and it's because they were in the hybrid forms. We know that that form does not really carry over. It's more like Denji at an instinctual level. No thought process, no brain power, just feelings. So it's interesting to see Sword Guy here because we kind of just all assumed he was dead or disappeared alongside Makima, right? What happened? Is he working for Fami? Is he working for Yoshida? Or is he kind of just here on his own regard? I will say this, however, I appreciate their conversation because he talks about Asa a little bit. Says that scars appear on her face supposedly when she fights devils, so that kind of slightly answers the whole scar appearing thing. I believe it might be intentional. There's a little bit there with, you know, do you remember me, yada yada. But he also kind of plays into Chainsaw Man a little bit. Like, doesn't it annoy you that some nobody, some new person on the block is is alongside someone as legendary as Chainsaw Man. So even though Denji calls this guy a loser, this is kind of his best opportunity, and I really don't want to say it, but honestly I feel like it's fitting and almost kind of perfectly timed. This is his best time to make a friend, like a genuine friend that he can somewhat understand. There is no one necessarily in Denji's life that has gone through similar things to him, right? But hybrids are rare. They don't come all too often. We only know a handful of them, and we don't really know how they're created in a lot of ways. We know Denji's way, we don't know anyone else's. Now what's crazy about this is that even though Chainsaw Man has erased the name of what hybrids were, they still exist. They have mutual ground. They're both hybrids, they've both been technically under control, if you want to put it that way, and they might be able to thrive together. It sounds weird and a little bit uncomfortable that this random guy could be Denji's friend, but it might be a good place to start. It's been a while since he's had a genuine male friend, and it's not that this person's ever going to replace Araki, but maybe at least trying to understand Denji a little bit more for who he is, who Chainsaw Man is. Hell, this guy could be that bad boy that convinces him to continue doing Chainsaw Man stuff. If we're going through this conflict within Denji's mind, cover all your angles and spiral it with control. You don't know where Denji's going to go, what he's going to do, who he's going to agree or disagree with, but you know that the conflict is coming. This entire chapter for me has me worried. I think this is a bad omen, bad start. It could just be the Fujimoto essence of his writing, but I'm uneasy about things, especially when it comes to Asa and that grin. I think conflict is on the horizon between both of them.